Bethany Baptist Church is looking to update its 15-plus-year-old audiovisual lighting system. And along the way, we learned that we had a number of acoustic issues with our sanctuary. Issues that really needed to be addressed before we considered investing in a brand new AVL system. After a fairly extensive evaluation and of qualifications of several AVL companies, Bethany Baptist Church chose AGI Professional located in Eugene, Oregon. This evening, we're fortunate to have the opportunity to meet with and talk with Steve Diamond, AGI Pro's acoustics expert, about our situation. Steve, welcome. Good to see you here. So first of all, before we get into a lot of things here, I'd like to just start out with, does our sanctuary that when you came to visit us back in, when was that, early July, did you find that our sanctuary had acoustics issues? And if so, can you kind of describe really the big main ones that you encountered?
It certainly had acoustic issues, and particularly when you talk about contemporary music and contemporary instrumentation. The room was built back in the 70s. It has a 70s design. The design is actually backwards from what it should be as far as sound is concerned, because sound waves come out of the source and expand. And the room contracts as you go further back in it instead of expanding. The part over the stage was the highest part in the room. Really, it should be the other way around for sound. So we certainly have some acoustic issues right off the bat just because of that, particularly in the back of the balcony. Very strong, I'm going to use the term wave compression. What happens is as the room decreases towards the back of the room, that wave bangs off the ceiling and collapses on itself. And that causes low frequency anomalies in the back of the room. What we are trying to do with music is to touch the emotions, causing the spirit to respond, and worship results. Focus on Jesus results. When we have inconsistent acoustics, we have distractions going on. It's too loud over here, it's too soft over here, there's too much bass, there's not enough bass, there's so on and so forth throughout the whole space. And there's something that happens when a room is balanced and the room is no longer an issue, and there's a good sound system and sound is a non-issue. People focus on Jesus and the worship is heightened. The result is a tangible sense of the presence of God in the house. That's what we're after.
I see. I also recall that when you came and presented to us back, it was at the end of August, about 4 or 5 weeks ago. You also made some comments. You made this actually initially in your initial assessment about the rear windows in the back and the issues there. And
you want me to go through each of them?
It might be worth mentioning just a few words about that, because some of the treatments that we'll be talking about a little bit later would be helpful to understand what some of the issues were there, as well as our stage rumble, and then also you kind of touched on the evenness of the sound.
Yes.
You want to comment on those three in particular?
Let's talk about the windows at the back of the room. Right now, those windows are parallel to the back wall, and so what happens is sound is launched at them and comes back. It's reflected. It's coming back with a delay. We can make it easier for the musicians to really keep time and to do a better job of bringing the music by removing hard reflections that come back to the stage out of time. By tilting the glass, we take the direct sound that is being thrown out by a speaker system or even from instruments at the stage, and we keep them from coming straight back.
Now, you'd also mentioned about the stage being kind of flexing and rumbling.
But what it is there's a single layer on that stage. So right now the stage resonates, which means that it actually produces a note. And if you hit the stage or you stamp your foot on it, you'll hear the stage boom, boom. So we've specified for you a 3-layer stage using 3 different thicknesses and a couple of different types of material.
Okay.
So that if one piece of material resonates, the other one doesn't, because it resonates at a completely different frequency. So it doesn't go through. And by bonding the layers with glue and screws, as we've specified in the design, it will become a non-issue. It'll be a non-resonant stage.
Lastly, on the issues we had, you had mentioned also about the unevenness of the sound depending on where you sat.
Yeah.
Any comments on? I mean, is that an issue in our current sanctuary, with given all these other factors?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All those reflections we're talking about, and the resonance is out of the corner. They fold back out of the corners, out of the back walls, the glass, the balcony fascia, the rear where the balcony is, at different points in time. And when they fold back, at some seats they're going to cancel certain parts of the band, frequency band, and at other seats they'll accentuate. So what happens is you have a person sitting in one seat who says, man, why is it so it's always too loud for me. It hurts me because it feels like they're getting poked in the forehead because that part of the band is being accentuated and frequencies around it are being canceled.
Interesting.
You move a few seats over and that person says, why does it sound like this? I can't understand what the pastor's saying. You know, because the high end is canceling, so we're losing clarity and intelligibility and so on.
What should they expect to hear differently in our sanctuary, would you say?
You'll have people who struggle with hearing aids, who have had trouble really enjoying both the worship experience as well as the preaching of the word, who will be able to turn off their hearing aids and hear better than they've ever heard.
Okay, Steve, I want to thank you very much for taking time here.
You're quite welcome.
And now we may let you eat.
Oh, God bless you. And you.
Soup for you.
Soup for me.